Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rob. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you'd please, if you're on Zoom, please open up your chat box, type in the number one for yes, two for no. Do not be a wise guy and type in no that you cannot hear me. Amelia is about to crawl through the phone and beat somebody for that. All right. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and drop a one in the chat box on YouTube. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Hey, Ray, how you doing? Afternoon, Kevin. Yeah, of course. Who else but Robert puts in 5 twos? All right, fantastic. Today is the very first day that we are doing both YouTube Live and our own on Zoom. Everything is working for us through Zoom. So welcome if you guys are on YouTube. Glad to have you here. If you have questions, type them in and we will get those answered as well. Just keep in mind, YouTube's a few seconds behind where the stream is that comes across on Zoom, but not bad. We'll be able to get to that fairly easily. Yeah, Rick, I'm excited. I really am. All right. There you go, Robert. Humbug. Exactly. Okay. No worries. Guys, remember, everything we talk about today is for educational purposes only. None of this is meant to be advice and or recommendations. All right. So let's go ahead and jump in. Here we've got our online trainings coming up this week. Inner Circle was moved to the 26th. I was a little bit under the weather last week. I'll talk to you guys about it when we get in Inner Circle. Monster Market Move is on the 25th, and then you've got Patterns in a Flash and Trading You coming up. Our Mastermind group is coming up every Tuesday night, 8 to 9 p.m. Free online workshops. You're here, Power Hour. Guys, if you're brand new to this, make sure we do this every Monday, folks. Make sure you're back. And then coming up on the 24th, which is Wednesday, Brandon has classes at 12 and 8 on trading the market. It's a futures-based trading. You definitely want to check out what he's doing. Power Option Plays, Cover Call Explorer, and E-mini Think Tank are all on their regularly scheduled times. We do have an announcement coming out tonight. I'm going to let Brandon make it on E-mini Think Tank. You guys have asked for it. You're going to get it. So keep your eyes open for that this evening. All right, here is our Follow Us page. The only thing missing from here is our podcast. And here's the most amazing thing of all, right? We've been working on this for weeks to get it going. And last night, the company we used to host it sends me an email that says, yeah, we were hacked. Okay. And they're holding us hostage. They want us to pay money or else they're not going to release our site. So interesting, but I think they got it back without having to pay them. And I think they figured it out from backups. But we've got 2 podcasts in the bag already, 2 done. So you'll be able to listen to those very shortly. So just keep your eye out on this for this page here. If you're not following us, make sure that you are. If you are on YouTube with us right now, hey, make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you like what you see here today. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. So first thing is I want to look at the S&P 500. Let's go ahead and get this streaming started on Trade Nav. It's a yellow dot. It's a green dot. It's a go. All right. Oh, you can see what's going on with the S&P down 21 points right now. Big hit. Am I concerned? No. Why? Look where we are, folks. Where are we sitting? We're sitting right above the 21. Do I like it? Nah, it's okay. You know, but Rob, what about? No. You need pullbacks. We can't just keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. What's happening right now? All of this. Here, let me bring it in for a little bit of a closer zoom. All right, good. Let me grab a pen. Watch. All of this sort of pullback here, people are like, hey, it's all good, right? It's all good. We just broke a little bit down below the moving average. Oh, just a little bit down. Right here, people absolutely freaked out and gave you an amazing buying opportunity when it happened. Right? We recovered. People were still freaked out. Even if you got back above the moving averages, people were still concerned. And yet individuals getting in around here is when we saw some volume pick up. And what happened? We topped out with new all-time highs, and now we're rolled over. We have not even done what we did here, which was break the 21 and get all the way down to the 55. We've stayed still above that 21 moving average. So what does that tell us? Is this a small pullback? Very possibly. Is this damning that we're going to see a 10% drop in the market? I hope so. We're too high. We need the pullback. Markets cannot sustain this straight up in the air run. We need these types of pullbacks in here to make a viable market. That's what makes a really strong market. Jim said the SPX, the big pullback was the GameStop week. Yeah, just craziness. And they still don't have it figured out what's going on with that yet. I saw another one out there today. They said, this is a new one on the Reddit list. Trees don't grow to the skies. Exactly, Boz. You got it, man. You got it. They don't, right? You want that stair step in there. You know, there's a great song. Who sings it? It's called Stairway to Heaven. Who sings the song? Anybody know? Maybe I'm dating myself way too much. Yeah, Rick, there you go. I knew you would know it. Yeah, Led Zeppelin, man. Led Zeppelin. You're not familiar with it. Even if you're younger, you're like, who? Go check that song out, man. #1 song every single year when I was a kid. Right? We're looking for the stairway. We're looking for the stair step. Right? Move up, sideways, down, upside. That's what we want to see. That song is what made me want to learn guitar. There you go, Deborah. I understand. Right? I always wanted to be in a band. Problem was I couldn't sing and I couldn't play an instrument. Other than that, I think I'd do okay with it. You know? So where we're at with S&P, I'm not too concerned. But now with that being said, where am I? Oh, I thought I had video on. Sorry. Let's talk chair. All right. Beautiful. Let's talk chair. Where am I right now with the S&P 500? Where am I in my chair? Where am I? And those of you that are brand new, don't know what the chair factor is, don't worry, you'll see it now. Smoke on the water, Robert. There you go. Right? No. All right, don't tell me what you actually see me doing. That's not what I mean, right? What do we got here? We got 3 positions in a chair. We got this, right? We got this where we're taking notice, right? So this is very relaxed. I'm doing nothing. Hands are nowhere near the keyboard. I can't do anything, right? Being half Italian, you either sit on your hands or put them where you can't do any damage, right? So my hands are back here. Secondly is sitting straight up, right? I'm paying attention, but I am not really that concerned that there's something going to happen. I need to jump in. The third position is sitting on the edge of the chair. Just kind of moved up to the edge and lean forward. Hands are right over the keyboard, ready to rock and roll, right? So right now, if you back off, let me just move this out of the way there. If you back off a day in here, right? If you back off a day, right? This would be, I have no interest at all, right? I'm just watching it, right? This is where I actually was, right? I'm like, ooh, we're right at the 8. Do we have an opportunity for a bounce? This morning, the market opened up. I am sitting here. If we bounced this morning, I'd be at the edge of the chair working on whatever trade setup I was using. But today we got down. So I went from this sitting straight up to back here again. What am I doing? Nothing. There's nothing in here I want to do. Oh, but Rob, you could have taken a bullish bounce in there. Where? Yeah, where? Think about it. As it bounced off the 21 with the fib line right above it? I don't think so. For me, no. That doesn't mean you can't do it. You take the trades that you think are best for your risk profile. For me, All right? My systematic approach doesn't allow me to take this trade here. Does that mean that I am right? Nope, doesn't mean that at all. It just means that that's what it is. It is what it is, what it is. That's my style of trade that I look to take. Period. It doesn't mean that I'm the only one that's right. It's just what works best for me, for my personal risk profile in the overall market. Okay? So let's see. A lot of you guys got it right. Jim, understand why I'm not interested in that 21 now? Look at how close we are here. We've pinned it. And if you really want to day trade this in and out quick type stuff, awesome. You could do it. You know, if we look at the SPY, right? Didn't quite get to the 21, right? But where did we get from our low? 386.66 to 388.06. So about $1.50. So you have a little bit of room in there, just not enough for me to go, ooh, Mr. Carter. You know, I'm not interested. Not at all, right? I'll wait. You know, folks, for those of you that know, I normally take 240 to 300 trades in a year's time in one of our programs, in our power option place, right? But there are 240 to 300 more that I don't take. And some will be absolute home runs and people are going, oh, I can't believe you didn't take that trade. It didn't fit my system, but it made money. Yeah, that time. You caught the one time that it actually worked out well. There are so many times that things fall apart that if you just follow the rules, for me, I do so much better. All right, let's see. Jim said, you want 2 or more lines in confluence for sitting up in the chair. About what, Robert? About what? Oh, okay. So when you look at the setup, could you have taken a trade? Yes. Did I? No. This was not me today for this type of a trade. Were there other things out there to be done? Absolutely. Without a doubt, there certainly are. All right. Very cool. Okay. So we talked about, and when we sent out our email, I don't know if Amelia put it out that way, but we talked about getting high in the market. Right. And what are we talking about there? Well, guys, there are stocks in cannabis right now that are either A, taking off, or B, potential to take off as big. And you need to keep in mind a couple of things. What's happened with COVID to states? Cuomo, the individual in New York who was elected governor, by whom I don't know, but was elected governor, has been pushing now for a while to legalize marijuana. There have been some holdups in there. I think there are some councilmen that want to build a park somewhere. As long as they get their money, they'll approve it. All this BS stuff that has nothing to do with the bill that you're trying to pass. It'd be amazing if we could just pass a law or a bill or whatever it is without having to negotiate anything that's not to do with it, period. Right? If you're going to do healthcare, just do healthcare. Don't worry about who's getting oil or who's getting paid for this or who makes money. Just focus on that. Well, right now, there's a big push again for cannabis in New York. He's gotten in for the upcoming budget, which is the beginning of this year now. It's within the next month and a half or so, I think, in New York. And there's concerns. And I don't mean about the marijuana component. I mean, there are concerns from the standpoint of, the governors are in some of them are in such pain right now with the cost of COVID. They're not sure how they're going to pay all of this. They're asking the federal government for more aid. The Council of Governors, who Cuomo is one of the top 2 guys in, I guess, has been pushing on the federal government for months now. We need money, we need money, we need money, right? Well, they're looking at cannabis as we can get money, and a heck of a lot of it if we legalize this. And there are a lot of other benefits to it as well. One of the sticking points in New York is what happens if they catch somebody under the 18, which is in legal age to have it with marijuana. Do we put them in jail? That's where one of the sticking points are right now for it. But if these governors start passing, these marijuana companies, you're going to see more production, more sales, more jobs open up, more businesses open. Now, there's still a federal government issue with whether or not they're allowed legally to deposit funds in a federal bank, right? Yes or no. That's why so many of these places have literally armed guards. You walk in and there's, folks with, AR-15s or whatever, M16, whatever, bazookas, whatever they're using to try to protect the place. I mean, armored cars showing up. I talked to somebody that they had an armored car coming and they were pulling out a couple $100,000 a week in cash from marijuana sales, right? Because you can't put it into a bank, can't put it on credit cards, all that good stuff, right? So when you look at the market, you got a bunch of stocks out there. Now, keep something in mind. There's not just the marijuana stock, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. As an example, okay, I got a great question for you. Put your answer in the chat box. Short answers. What does Tesla do? What's Tesla do? What if you ask somebody what does Tesla do, or they asked you, what's your answer to that? Okay, just so you know, all of you are wrong so far. Just FYI. And I hear where you're coming from with all your answers. I do. Make noise. There you go, Joan. Makes Musk money. That's true. That's for sure. They make money. Okay. Good, Joyce. They make money. I get it. Here's the thing. CNBC this morning, it's on over my shoulder, my left shoulder. It's on right now, just muted. CNBC this morning said, is it expected this year Tesla will make more money from Bitcoin than it will from selling cars? So I asked again, what does Tesla do? Those that put in make money were on the right path, right? You may not have had the exact answer, but you're on the right path, right? Well, there are companies like that that are invested heavily in marijuana. Scott's, right? Miracle Grow, right? Or Scott's, I think it is. Scott's is one of the companies that's invested in them, right? TER is one of the companies invested heavily in marijuana. So you may not know some of these companies, and you may not get the direct correlation of pot goes up and that company goes up because they make other things like chips and other technologies and so forth, right? So there's a lot to consider when looking at these guys. So here's a couple of them, right? That's it, Leeds. It's all Bitcoin. Yeah, shades. There you go, Rick. Shades of Dell and Sears. Dell made $3.2 billion, 3.1 or $3.2 billion when you're selling computers, and they made $3.4 billion selling puts against their own stock. So did Dell really make computers? I think that was a side job for them. Make money, make money, make money. Made more in Bitcoin than in cars. There you go, Joe. That's exactly what they said. Right? That's absolutely it. Robert, is that your marijuana stock? Telray. Right? Definitely the most popular one these days. Good, Deborah. Good. Interesting. Excellent. Good. So definitely the most popular one these days, or one of the more popular ones these days. You can see the pop-up, the Reddit run that took place in there. I was part of that run. Had a really nice trade go off in there. I was in a diagonal position, so I had some finagling to do, but overall did extremely well. Let's see. They're in. Okay, so I got you. So Robert is saying, Robert put in STZ. And that's, I said, is that your marijuana company? Let me go ahead and get a bigger picture, right? Constellation Brands, okay? Food and beverage. And then when I asked Robert that, he typed back in and he said, Telray is one of the companies they're in business with, the one I just put up. The second one on my list is CGC. That was the second one that Robert typed in, right? So here's $38 stock. You can see they had their earnings, right? Also the big run up from the Reddit stuff. They had their earnings in there and they've kind of fallen down a little bit. And I'm not saying that marijuana is today, go buy it and you're going to make a fortune. But I do believe that if you are in the market and you're doing anything where you have any kind of speculation, then I think marijuana is definitely one to consider, right? B, to whatever you want to call it. On top of that, if you're doing anything a little bit longer term, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at companies like these. I do prefer the optionable companies, right? So if we look here, actually, let's go here, right? I know Telray is optional, right? TLRY is optional, right? And then you have CGC. So next one, Cannabis Growth, optional, right? Here's an interesting one. MJ. Alternative Harvest ETF. Very similar pattern to what happened in Telray and Cannabis and so forth. Okay, that's it. Mary Jane. Right, Robert. Yep. Okay, so if we look, MJ, optional, right? Not a lot of open interest on the weeklies. Let's go look at the monthly. This is 25 days away, 1,600 contracts, 728 contracts, 2,500 contracts. Hoorah, baby. This one works, right? So you got an ETF that you can be trading this also, right? Amelia talks about this one all the time. She sends this off in Trade Watch alerts. It's been out a couple of times. She's trading this one over and over again. APHA, right? And that's what Joe said, Telray sold to Afira, right? Which is APHA, okay? So you can see the patterns are very similar, right? OGI is another one. Now, lower price stock, I don't know if they're optional. I've never traded this one. but they had the volume, which is what was real important to me. Distilled whiskey called water. Someone says you drinking alcohol. So you can see plenty of open interest. Yows are open interest. Problem is they are monthly options. When I say problem for me, right? You may be okay with it, problem for me. So 20th of January, 2022. Wow. Okay, we got a 23 option. So I can buy 2023 70 Delta for $2. And it's trading at 341. But you're 697 days away, right? You're probably better off just buying the stock outright instead of that leap on it. But I'm not a fan of something that does not have weekly options. Doesn't mean you can't trade it. There are tons of over-the-counter stocks as well, penny stocks that you could look to trade. It's kind of some of this, something like the cryptos, right? Let's trade this because someone's dog, they named the coin after someone's dog, you know, some star's dog, Dogecoin or whatever it is, right? Great, let's just trade that one, right? You can do the over-the-counter stuff. You just don't have a lot of good financials, a lot of good followings. Check for volume, make sure you're not getting crushed on some of these garbage ones. Yeah, some of the shroom stocks. Yeah, well, maybe, Robert. I'm just, you know, from the government standpoint of legalizing marijuana and so forth. You know, I remember when Colorado did it, was a great thing for the state as far as financial. And that's where the governors have to be looking right now for it, right? It will legalize drugs. And I remember a good friend of mine, Ryan Litchfield, some of you guys know who he is, talked about it when they legalized it in Washington State, that the fear was that some of the cartels were going to take over the legalization, you know, that business, they were going to just sell it legally. And I'm thinking, okay, is that really a bad thing if they're selling it legally? Well, if they're using it for illegal operations, maybe. So who can open up the store and who's allowed? And but then again, I guess if it's a cartel, someone may walk into the owner of the store and make him an offer he can't live long enough to refuse. You never know, right? Look at the Yankee drinking out of a mason jar. Suzanne, I do 4 of these, 3 minimum, but try for 4 of these every day of water. I'm usually up between 5:30 and 6, and within a half an hour, I've already had 1 at that point. So, and I only drink out of glass. I don't do any plastic or any of that stuff. Yeah, perfect way to get your gown in. 4 of them, exactly. That's it, Suzanne. That's it. Just drink. Distilled comment. Okay, beautiful. You guys are friggin' amazing. All right, so you got a lot of great companies out here. Let's see if there's anything out there. So when you look, I'm still a fan of Telray. If I had to pick one, that would be my go-to, right? Is there anything I can do here from a short term? Well, I want to go back and look at the chart. And let's go here. This is the end of day chart. And I like this because my fibs are on here and all that great stuff. Actually, we need to draw some new fibs. Let's get rid of this here. So we had this pull back into here. Not really a pullback there. That definitely would be a better one. Yeah, so we're going to draw from here, that swing low. We're going to need some fibbits in here. There's no doubt. Let's see. Our fibbit. What is a fibbit? There are many of you that are brand new, especially those that are on YouTube that have not been with us before. A fibbit, take the wildest average true range and double it. So call it 650. A fibbit would be $13. Right? Is the distance between 35 and 41 greater than $13? No, then it's fine. Is the distance between 55 and 67 greater than $13? No. 55, 65, that's 12. We're good. Is the distance between 67 and 81 greater than $15? 67, that's 14. Greater than $13, right? 13. And the answer is yes, it is. So what does that mean? This line right in here, we need to split. I need to split that line. So we're just going to go ahead and add a line that goes right in the middle of it, which is the negative 136. And that is just a factor of helping us to be able to enter a trade and have reasonable targets within a short period of time to exit out of. So right now, here's our new fib. I'll go back to where the moving averages are. All right, let me get rid of these orange, or at least the orange line. Let me take it out. That bar, so we can kind of see a little bit easier in there. All right. So where are we? We broke down below that 2773. I'm not real happy about the positioning of it right now, but we did have some support at that 764 fib line. So now what? Can we find something below that $28 level that gives us a decent premium on, let's say, a naked put? So if we go to the 27s, right, we could pick up about $1.22 on the $27 puts. It gives a 36 delta, a little high for me. But I can come to the 25 delta, the 20 delta, 25 strike. We're at 28 right now. And I could pick up 50 cents on that trade. So, I mean, the 25 sets me up right about here, close enough. All right. There's my $25 mark. That's where my safety factor is. And look what happened. We gapped 1, 2, 3 days played there before we started to take our run. So are we okay holding there? Maybe. You've got to decide if it fits your risk profile or not, right? From there, you could start setting some others down here, but I don't think you're going to get a whole lot for an $18 put. Let's go look for more strikes. And yeah, it's not even worth looking for it, but if we go to 40 strikes, you go to an 18, you got 2 by 4, 3 cents. So you're not getting anything. So if you don't think it's going to hold at that 25, then it may not be worth it for you. But right now, what would we do? The stock is trading at 28.25. Instead of buying the stock today, I could have somebody have the right. I would take on an obligation to allow you to force me to buy the stock at 25. $3.26 lower than it is now. And for that, you're going to pay me 50 cents. I'm in. I do this all the time. I texted Amelia Friday afternoon. It's like, oh, okay, hey, here's one for right now. Boom, just got in this trade. What do you take a look at it. Another one the week before, that she's in right now. So I'm a big fan of naked puts, all part of what we do in Covered Call Explorer, right? Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing the questions here. Yeah, I don't know the federal rules behind it there, Jim. Not really sure about it. Let's see. Most of the cannabis pot stocks are over the counter. Yep, they are, Robert. Yeah, glass equals perfect, chiropractor approved. Yep, I get it. And here's the thing. Can anybody tell me how much is in this glass? How much goes in these large mason jars? I'll wait and see if any of you can get the right answer. Let's see. So Drew said, can you repeat that fibit, please? Okay, so now I got it, Drew. Fibit is one word, just as an FYI. Robert M., you were the first one to get it right. How would I know that this is not 32 ounces? Because I measured it. That's why. I don't believe anybody. Trust but verify. 28 ounces fits in this jar right up to the neck. And you can't force up to the top of the jar and get 4 more ounces in it. It's 28. All right? Just FYI. Okay. Be careful who you're listening to. Yeah, I sold hooch at some point. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Oh gosh, oh gee. All right. So Drew said, can you repeat the fibit, please? Sure. So here it is, Drew. And it is a powerful, powerful component of what I do. If we have a Fibonacci drawn, right, as we do here, I need to know, Drew, that I can make it from where I am at now at a key level to the next key level within 2 to 3 days. That's my goal, to have 2 to 3 days that I can get there. Well, if the average true range on this stock is $6.50. And if I'm looking for it to be 2 to 3 days, so what I'm looking at is if we can make the full run in 2 days, right? We go from about 28 to about 35, right? That puts me at $8. Can I move $8 in 2 days based on a $6.50 per day move from high to low, wildest average to range? And the answer is yes, I can. Well, if I can do that, then I don't need to put a line in there to split that level. But when I look up here and say, okay, can I move $13? Can I move $13? Let me rephrase that. Is it more than $13 from 67 to 81? And we're just getting round numbers. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to get an idea of what's happening in there. 67 to 81, 77, 89, 80, 81. That's $14. My Fibonacci on this was 13, $6.50, right? Times 2, $13. This distance between these two lines is greater than 13, so I then have to split that level in half. Now, from 67 to 74 is $7. Can I make that $7 move? Sorry for the big mouse there, the big pencil. Can I make that $7 move over the course of 2 days? And the answer is absolutely, you can. 4 ounces for sample in the moonshine. You're crazy, Robert. Really are. All right, let's do this. Let's get that back. All right, Drew, does that make sense? Give me a 1 for yes or 2 for no. All right, watch, everybody's going to go home and start measuring their jars now. I'll show you. It's like the yield sign thing you do. All right, perfect, Drew. Excellent. Very good. Very good. You are quite welcome. It's a really powerful tool. Drew, I stared at this for years and never recognized it. Never, ever, ever saw it happening. When I say that, wrong way of putting it. I saw it happening. I didn't know why. And I started drawing those lines and I went, oh my God, we stop at these levels all the time. Come on. Here's Apple. Let me unscrunch it. All right, look at what happened. You can't look at this black line back here because we did not have the Fibonacci drawn yet. When I drew this fib in place, let me get rid of this mouse there, right? Watch. When I drew this fib in place, I drew from that V bottom to that V top. So you can't look back here for this black line, all right? But now I can look at this one right in here, and we moved up, and look what happened. For, oh, I don't know, a little over a week, we stayed there. Right? Then when we got here, we gapped up. Where did we go? Right to the next black line. We stayed there. We broke below and we played and channeled inside of there. Let me change the pencil a little bit there. Right? It's just a little too wide. We played over and over again inside of here. But Rob, you see, we broke right through it. Okay, so what? We broke right through. What does that even mean? Let's try that again. All right. For some reason, Zoom doesn't like that pencil. Zoom doesn't seem to like any pencil right now. All right, let's see if it's for some reason it's not letting me clear the drawings off. I'm not sure. Deborah said, nice. You could create your own unique fib tool indicator for the brokerages. Yep, I'm working with somebody right now on getting some of my Fibit type stuff inside of it, Deborah. But you're right. I don't know why I'm not able to clear that those lines off. But guys, look, up here we hit the black line again. Down here we came back to the black line. We bounced. You know, we failed at this one. We bounced off this one. We came back. Oh, but Rob, see, we broke through. I get it. But we broke through. We retested it and failed. Those Fibit lines are absolutely outstanding. Amy said, I like where Apple is sitting. It looks interesting. Let's see. Let me go to template number 2. All right. So actually, let me take this down. Let me try to clear this here. So I don't know why Zoom is not letting me delete those lines. So we're going to have to just bear with them for a little bit. until it does decide to let me have it back again. Control. All right. Let's see. Gerald said short 145 put. You're talking about on Apple? The 145 put, Gerald? Oh, on ARKK. Okay. ARKK, we're trading at 147. Someone's got the right to take it from you to put it to 145, depending on where you're at. If you're front week, you got a decent premium on it, and there's nice open interest, even real good volume today. Volume almost matches the open interest totally. So nice, very nice. Let's see. Let's go back here, Amos. Yeah, I mean, we're sitting at that. Let me get a bigger picture there so we can see the whole Fibonacci. We're sitting at the 236, which is the hesitation point, but moving averages have started to flip at this point. So that's where the concern kind of steps in, is on the moving averages there. Okay. But all right, let's do this. We're at the point of the training where we start going through and looking at candidates that you guys want to take a look at. So tell me the stocks that you want to see. CCL. That was Robert. All right, CCL is, what a nice run on it today, Robert. I mean, it broke. I don't know if this is all-time high, but let's see. No, okay, it's not. Who is this? Oh, Carnival. Okay, I'm not even paying attention to the symbol. I'm just typing it in. I was on Benzinga last week, and we talked a little about these guys. I brought them up, that I'm a big fan of the airline companies right now. I think people should be looking to invest in airlines. I am. I'm long on some of the airline stuff. You have to decide if it fits your risk profile. But I didn't feel that the cruise lines were going to be able to recover as quickly as the airlines. You got to book in advance. This is not, where I could just jump on a plane and go to Florida for a couple of days, right? They're not going to fill a cruise ship up 2 weeks before the cruise. I don't think. How about that? Maybe I shouldn't say that. So I think the cruise line should be on your list without a doubt, right? We don't have a great place for fibs. This big move here would give us, very complicated to try to work off it. The fibs would be just astronomical. But the one thing we can be looking for here is the retracements for that 50%. Right? So we're looking at that 29.92 level as our next target for retracement. And we had 1, 2, 3 times on that 24.72 level before we finally hit up and nailed, broke out and looking to go to that 29.92. So look for that 50% retracement. 24.72 is support there, Robert. A couple of you are asking for ARRK. ARKK, my bad. Okay. Fibonacci is good on ARKK. Let's look at where we are. All right. So we're near all-time highs at this point. All right. So life is good. My dogs want to kill somebody. I don't know if they're barking at the snow or what. 38 degrees outside and it's snowing. So we did break down below the 21 moving average. If we close down in that area, it puts us into a neutral bias. For those of you, Gerald, you and a couple of others had asked for it. It puts us into a neutral bias if it stayed right where it is now, which means I would day trade it looking at that 149 and 143 level as support and resistance. If we get above, I really need to get back above the 8, which means I still need to get back above the 154 to take a trade on it for me to go long. But that's your next support, is at 143.24. Okay. It might have been my mailman, Joyce. You're right. Let's see. Roman's asking for Googly. All right. So we finally broke it. We were just pinned for so long. Look at this. Between that 2062 level and 2122 level, we've just pinned in there. We just kept shifting. And the last 4 or 5 days, we've just been very sideways between that moving average and the fib. And we got a break to the downside today. This could be the market maker just doing a little bit of a shakeout in there. The DMI minus is turning up, this red line down here. It's still too low, but it is turning up for bearish momentum. We are getting, and I'm not surprised, we kind of flattened off and even rolled over a little bit with this movement and the price on ADX. But we're still high enough. We're at almost 49 on the ADX, so still fine to take a directional trade. But on Google, what did we do? We had down as a day trade, Roman, right? Yeah, it was a day trade for us, right? So right now, can we day trade this one to the downside? Yeah, you can, because you've got 2005 as your next downside target. And you could even go with 13 because that's the moving average. But by the time you get down there, there's probably a confluence between the two of them. So we're probably okay there. All right, hope that helps, Roman. QQQ. All right, let's pull the fibs out. Okay. Let's see, guys. You know what I'm going to try to stop sharing for a second. Let me see this, and I'll share back again. Give me a sec. All right. So let me see if that gets rid of the lines. Yes, it took those red lines off there. Okay, beautiful. I will not be drawing anymore today. All right. So now we can see a little bit better. This little zigzag pattern was in the way. So same thing, we're back in a neutral pattern right now. So when we're looking at, Ellen, when we're looking at a potential trade setup here, if we close about where we are right now, great setup. Why? Because what I'd like to see happen is I would like to see tomorrow it come back up and kiss that 326-ish level, fail with the target being down at 319.25. But it would only be a day trade. I would not swing trade this at all. At all would I swing trade this one. Not while we're in a neutral bias. We need to be in a bear or a bull for me to swing trade it. Right now, we're in neutral between those moving averages there. All right, I hope that helps. Let's see, at 5, we got here. All right, Sean, what did I share incorrectly? I did. Okay. Sorry about that. That better? Sean just messaged me that I had the wrong screen up there. At least we still got rid of the lines. All right, so for Qs, I'm okay inside of here. Come back and retest that 326 and fail down to that 329. I'm okay with that. That would be fine by me. All right? I'm guessing all of these messages popping up are coming up to tell me that I was on the wrong screen. So sorry about that. EXAS is the next one. That was Tom. Tom, how's trading going today, my friend? And I got literally, there's 72 messages below yours right now. So I'm not going to see it right away, but just go ahead and pop it in. Let's make sure I'm on the right screen. Are you guys seeing my screen okay? It's okay? All right. No, that was Tom. Trade now. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Rick. All right. So we're looking at EXAS. So it's got a big channel to it, Tom. It does. It's got a really nice channel. We kind of ran a little too far yesterday. Today coming back, closing at the 142. If we could stay here, it's awesome. My screen is wild. It's awesome. If we can stay here and get a bounce tomorrow, we're looking at 154, 153 and a half. What do I have here? 15, 41, 51. No, I don't need to split it. So no fib it's needed here. So look for that 153 and a half and 158 and a quarter as the next two upside targets on EXAS. Trying to see all of the symbols again now, guys. Sorry about that. Netflix. right? So Amos on Netflix. Yeah, no earnings on it. We just had it down as a day trade. We had a neutral bias on it. We had it for a day trade. There would have been no trade today. I wouldn't trade anything on it while we've got the 55 here, Amos. As you see, we went right down to it and took a bounce off it today. Let it get back above the moving averages or break the 55 and set up a new pattern. When he said the belief that is that leisure travel will return before business travel, so love or over DL. Okay. You know, my sister-in-law just got a trip one way back from Puerto Rico on Frontier Air for $15. And I was on Southwest, love. I was on Southwest site the other day, and they had $14 flights. They had $49 flights, lots of them. So they're really going to have to fill them planes up for that. Although Frontier, I think, is one of those, oh, wait, you sneezed? No, there's a fee for that. Oh, you wanted a seat belt? Yeah, sorry, that's a $29 fee for that. You want an actual seat? Yeah, wow. You know, God, we gave you a spot, but a seat, you know. Okay, let's see. Where are we at here? All right, let's try to get a couple more in. KSS. That was Robert. Another nice one, Robert. Good gap up today, right, on Kohl's. Was it Kohl's? Kramer said something today that I think it was Kohl's, that he was in Kohl's all the time. Maybe it wasn't, but wasn't a Macy's, or it was a mall store. But I'm wondering if this was the run for it today, but the earnings were when? Shouldn't they have earnings coming up soon, guys? Unless that was it, but I'm not showing it here. All right, so are we at or near all-time highs, Robert? No, we're not. So we got to go back to, actually, no, we're going to draw a fib in there. So let's go set our Fibonacci up in here. So we're already broken out of the negative 618, Robert. We're going to need, it's just not real good move there. We're going to need a new V top to identify it, but look for that 59.69 as our resistance. Up above there, we don't even have anything drawn. We'd go with a negative 1.618 and then Fibbits, of course. But wrong edit button. Come on. Okay. Negative 1.618, which puts us up at $71 there, Robert. And we've got a $4 Fibit. So this Fib is not going to work. We're going to need this to recover a little bit. WDC. Western Digital, Joan is asking for. Daniel, how's trading going, my friend? All right, WDC. Do we have enough pullback here? I really need today to settle out, but we may have a new fib to draw in here. Right now, I'd be a little bit leery. I mean, we're at that 67.5 level. It was, from there, you can take the bounce, looking at another negative 1.618 in there. But I think we might have enough to draw a new fib. We just need today to settle out. If today does settle out right where it is, meaning we don't get any higher than that 7103, then we would be okay with this being the new fib. If this is the case, you're looking at 6611, and those of you that know what I'm looking for, why is that 6611 so powerful? What about that says, ooh, we need to focus on that? And guys, I'm going to ask you to, if there's any other symbols that I missed, just drop them in again at the bottom, because I can't keep up with them. It's I'm going through the charts and I'm just missing everything there. So what am I looking for? Right, PK, we've got a confluence of the 8 and the 236. And what does 236 mean? Hesitation. It's the hesitation level, right? If we can get a close at that 236, whoever was asking on WDC, apologize, I don't remember who it was, But if we can get a close at the 236, man, that's home run time for us. Close there and bounce with the 8 right there and that confluence. Strong area. Okay, Daniel. Waiting for the right entry. There you go. Patiently. The right words, too. Patiently. Okay. Baidu. Woo! Magaro. Let's back that up. And let's redraw the fibs. This kind of went sideways. We're going to go right off of that right there. All right, do we need Fibbits? 26.5 to 52.5. What is that? 26 to 51 would be $25. No, we don't need a Fibbit in there. We're well above that. Okay, and look at how we moved. See, this is why Fibbits are important. Look at today's move alone. For those of you that are not familiar with Fibbits, right? Look at today's move. I want to be able to go from one line to the next on Fibonacci's, and I need it to happen within 2 days. And it showed us today that we can do it in 1 day. But if I had this level really far apart, if this thing was just really stretched out, right? What I mean by that is if this was stretched out, it's not going to matter. Yeah, what I was trying to do, I can't. Dragging it out didn't show it the way I wanted it to. But point being is, here, if we just do an undo, put it back. Point being is, look at that overall move that took place in there today, right? It moved right between our 2 fib lines. Great setups, great opportunities on Baidu. It's hard to do anything with it today. I need a pullback, and I'm not really interested in chasing after this intraday with the move that it's made. So, but if you were in that one today, it's nice setup. Very nice setup. Keith's asking for TJX. That's about what I think about TJX. Just, I look at it and it's, did you ever look at something, a painting, a building, piece of furniture, and go, ooh, not in my house. Oh no, right? Something's off. You can't put your finger on it maybe. This is not a comfortable looking chart to me. When I see how we were constantly moving around, moving averages, great run from October, great run, right? Nice pullback here, but now we're getting back into some of that crazy, messy junk all over again, right? I'm not a fan of it personally. But let's see. We draw fibs on it. When I see these charts, this chart, I would pass. I wouldn't even stop. That's what we would draw. 66 to 71, $5, 324. I need to split this level in half. So all we're going to do is add a 118 in there. So you're looking, if we can close here, pull back to the 68.5, look for 71 as your resistance level on TJX, Keith. Hey, Mike, how you doing? ACB. ACB. I don't know my ABCs because it's ACB. All right, big move in here. Let me do this. Let's get rid of that wedge. All right, big move in here, good pullback. Move up, lower highs, right? Pull down, higher lows. Okay, that was the wedge that we had setting up, right? We broke out of the previous high, so the wedge is gone, right? It's over. Pulled up here, pull back, moved up here, and a pullback. This gives us a nice place to draw a fib off of. The problem is it's a very low price stock. So the move in here is a little bit small. Could be, let's see. What I'm looking, actually it works. What I'm looking for is take these two numbers, the 618 and the 50, take those two lines and make sure that this distance is at least $1. If it's at least $1, you're good. Right now, with that being said, Mike, on ACB, we're getting to the lower end of the Fibonacci. The value of it, the strength is running out. We could look for an 882 level and see we might get a confluence on the 55. And we'll use a green one because this could give us a Fibonacci 4-step trade, right? As long as we don't close below 1110, right? It's already below the 1216. Close below, great. As long as it doesn't close below the 1110, I'm okay. And then if it comes back above the 1216, Mike, what I'm looking for is a move back to the 1348. So let's see if I can draw with it again. Let's see. So as long, it doesn't matter what, nah, it's not letting me draw. Nope, not letting me draw. Okay. So what I was trying to show or share is this. Actually, let's see. Let me do this. As long as you stay above this line, you get the move up and close above the 764. You're going to move back and retest it and a bounce. That bounce right there would be your entry into the trade. And your target would be right there. That is a Fibonacci 4-step, right? Your 618 would be your target. Again, there's not a lot of movement in there, but that's what I'm looking for right now. Yeah, so what about the bias? Bias on it is a neutral bias. So I'm okay. A Fibonacci 4-step, you got to understand something. A Fibonacci 4-step is a very specific trade setup that I teach in Monster Market Movers, which I think is this coming week. I teach in Monster Market Movers. That Fibonacci 4-step pattern has, if it's the first test of the 882, which it is, it's the first time it's done this. On the first test, it's about a 78, 79% chance of being right in that trade. So I don't focus as much on the bias there. If it's not the first attempt, if it's done this before and it's come back again and again and again, it loses the validity of the trade setup. But on the first trade setup, this Fibonacci 4-step is a very high value setup. All right. There you go, Amelia. You are welcome. Let's see, TJX, ACB. Very cool. Very, 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 very cool. All right. What do you guys think? You like it? YouTube, how was it? Those of you that are brand new here, what'd you think? Guys, this is what we do on Mondays. This is me saying, here you go. I'm giving back. Whatever you want to ask, whatever questions, tell me the stocks. We'll look at them. I will evaluate them for you and tell you what I see in the market and the things that I'm looking at. Right? 1 for yes, 2 for no. If you didn't like it, it's okay. Give me a 2. I'm good. You won't hurt my feelings. Not at all. Unless you're Robert. Good stuff. I'm bearish on EXS. All right, cool. Awesome, Robert. Robert said, and I wasn't talking about Robert M, by the way. It's the other Robert, the troublemaker at times. But Robert M had said, good stuff, Robert. New to your content, but I'll stick around. Cool. There you go. Right. Lead said the white pen was good. You could easily see it. Yeah, the pen just isn't working. It's something to do with Zoom, I'm sure. I don't, Joan, no. I really haven't focused on any of the SPACs. It's another way of bringing it to market. That's all. I think what you're going to see is a lot easier way of, well, it is easier, but it's a lot quicker. You'll see a lot more companies coming through earlier than they would have. Do I think it's a good thing? I don't know. It depends. If their financials aren't quite there and they came in a little too early, then it may be an issue. Cool. All right. There you go, everyone. You have a great rest of your day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, folks,